Hey guys, Al here. Um, I want to go with you guys about a garage heater. It's a Comfort Zone. It's a CZ230ER. I've seen a lot of instructional videos how to install it, and people say it works wonders. But I've never actually seen anybody do a test to show what kind of heat you'll actually get out of it. I got it here about a 12 by 21 stall garage. I want to go with a 5,000 watt, but I was unsure of what kind of heat I'll be getting, so I went with the 7,500 watt Comfort Zone garage heater. Again, very simple to install. Nothing, literally run A3 Romex for the 7,500 watt or a 10.2 for the 5,000 watt. I ran it, put some conduit, throw an extra breaker switch here. If I gotta work on the heater, take it down to clean it or anything like that, I want to have a secondary switch where I can shut it off. I've seen people pull regular switches for that. I want to go a different route. This box cost, I think it was like 12 bucks. Mine as well. The switch was, I think it was like $8. So what I want to do is actually see what the temperature is in here, which, as you can see, it's about, what is it, 36 degrees. And right now it is just about 214. And I'm going to turn this on and test exactly how long it takes to heat it up and what kind of temperature I can get out of it. Comes with a nice little remote, so turn on mode for low heat or high heat, your temperature control timer, and then you could obviously throw from Fahrenheit to Celsius if need be. Besides that, it's a pretty simple design, just a fan, some heating coils inside. What's really nice is you can actually adjust these louvers here so you can get heat. Half of them you could point down, half you can point to the top. That way it gets heat all across, however you want. But probably gonna keep it here for half an hour, then we'll come back and see what kind of heat we got here. Real quick, I did notice when we started this, it was about 36 degrees, if I'm recalling correctly. It's only been a few minutes. I mean, we talk about not even 5 minutes, and the heater's showing 50 degrees right now. Obviously, it is a little bit higher. It did start at 46, so I don't know if it's just inaccurate thermostat. Because the one I have, still showing about 38, 39 degrees. And this one just kicked up another 2 degrees, so I don't know if it's really heating the thermostat around there, because the heat is really, right by it. I don't know if you would have to have a different thermostat connected somewhere on your wall away from it to get a little better reading. The heat output right now, I'm standing right from about 8 feet in front of it. I'm definitely feeling nice warm air coming right at me. So is it going to heat it up? I have no doubts about it. With the heat that is coming out. I did have a couple other heaters here. I've tried the kerosene. Yay, heats fast, but you get the fumes. If you have the propane one, at first you don't smell anything, you don't feel anything, but after like an hour or so, I noticed my eyes start burning and the air quality just decreases significantly. And again, right now we're up to 54 degrees. It's not heating it that fast. Like I said, it does have nice heat output out of it. Standing right in front of it, backing up some. Maybe you feel a slight difference in here, but it's definitely not heated, 55 degrees right now. My heater, sorry, my thermostat that I have on pretty much on the floor, it's showing about 46 degrees right now. That one's showing 55, so we'll see here in a little while, see how it works. Alright guys, it's been about about 20 some minutes since I turned the heater on. I stayed right in the garage to see what kind of difference we've seen. Heater's showing about 68 degrees. It's not 68. It's definitely a lot warmer. Took the chill right out. I mean, it is getting a lot warmer in here. The other thermostat that I have looks like showing about 52 in here right now. I did keep it about 3 or 4 feet in the air, just to see what kind of difference I'll be seeing from here, from the ground. Standing in the garage, like I said, you do not feel the chill anymore. It's comfortable in here, to the point where maybe I can be in a t-shirt. I did put the heater to 70. Again, right in front of it, I mean, you're feeling a nice blast of real warm, almost hot air. Obviously, the closer you get, within a couple of feet, I mean, it's putting the output of one of those garage heaters, kerosene or diesel or even a propane. It's getting that kind of output. Again, it's been about 20 minutes and was up to 52 degrees and was originally at 36 degrees. 20 minutes, that's not bad. Yes, I went with a little bit bigger size to get a little bit faster heat in here instead of the 5,000 watts. I figured since spending a couple $100, might as well spend an extra few bucks, get the little bigger size. Yeah, wire's a little bit more expensive for the 8.2 instead of 10.2, but again, at the end of the day, I think it's worth it. Just walking around with the thermostat in my hand, I did get a little bit closer to the heater, showing about 58 while I was standing closer to the heater. I would say probably within 6 feet of it. It has jacked it up all the way to 58, and it looks like it's still climbing, just about hit 59. So at the end of the day, is it worth it to get the 7500 if possible for a smaller garage? Yes, it's definitely worth it. Again, if you got to do any kind of work in here, which obviously I haven't done anything to the garage yet. I've done most of the work to the house, but I, always doing something. Trying to do a little table right now, but the winter in New York gets pretty cold, so I had to stop this till I install the heater, so that way I can continue doing this once it's actually warm, because whatever you put on here doesn't really want to dry, unless you got a good 55-60 degrees minimum. Otherwise it might take forever to dry, and curing process with certain things, you need that temperature. So is it worth it? Yes, it's definitely worth getting it. I don't know if you like the Comfort Zone brand. I mean, there's plenty of them out there. There's, a lot of different models out there, more expensive. You're pretty much going to get the same exact thing. There's no different. They all pretty much look the same. They do the same thing. I think it was one of the King ones. You can spend $300, $400, $500 on them, and they'll look pretty much exactly the same as this. So if you got a garage, you're looking to get one, might as well go with the 7500 watt. I think I spent like $168 on the heater itself on Amazon. Got a deal at the Romex. Had the lowest price match. Some store in Michigan that was selling it. Otherwise you would pay $70 for the wire, $12 for the fuse box here, pretty much the breaker switch with the box. The conduit, I think it might have been like $12. Then just pretty much getting screws and things to tie down your conduit with, and spend a little time drilling holes and getting the wire secured somewhere where it's not going to be damaged. And if it is in the garage like this, I recommend putting some kind of conduit on it to protect it from anything falling or accidentally hitting the wires and cutting them and causing a big mess. These are pretty thick, and they'll withstand some damage. They'll withstand the water and all kinds of different things. So again, not an electrician. I was able to look at some videos online and do a little bit of research. I was able to do the whole install myself. Again, I am pretty handy. Not an electrician, but it was pretty simple once you understand how electricity works. It does work on a 240. You gotta get a double pole breaker switch. I had to run a 40 amp with an A2 wire. At that point, like I said, do all your wiring. At the end, just shut the main power off. Then you're able to work at the bottom panel without worrying if you're going to get electrocuted. Obviously, get a tester, make sure all the power is off, and that way, just a safety thing for you. So, right now, showing is 70. My little thermostat is showing about 60 degrees, and we're going almost half hour right now, and it's definitely a lot warmer in here. Again, even at the other end of the garage, I can say it's pretty warm in here. I don't need my big jacket just to be in here. And well, that's it, guys. I mean, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or if you see anything that I did wrong, or need any help, I'll do the best I can to help explain what I did. And see you guys later. Not sure if you hear that ticking sound. If any one of you know why it's doing that, if it's something that it's supposed to be doing, let me know. I just put the temp down to 69 here. It looks like it did shut the heat off, or sounded like it shut it off, but still showing 70, still putting heat output out. It is getting a little bit cooler, the air itself. Put it down to 65. See if it'll actually shut off. The heating element is definitely off. I think it just needed the fan on to get the heating element down, so that way it doesn't stay warm and doesn't create a risk of a fire or anything like that. He said everything stays on. I'm assuming when the temperature drops down to 65, it will kick back on and will maintain the temperature for you. Again, if you want to use this to keep some heat in the garage from freezing, obviously I'll put lower temperature just above freezing point, so that way I don't know if you have pipes or anything going through the garage that you want to keep warm, you could do that as well. Let's see, we're showing about 70. Let's see what happens when I get to 69. Put on 70. So it's definitely still showing 70 in the garage. I did put the my other thermostat down to the floor, at the bottom floor, showing about 53 degrees, and I'm talking about, within a foot away from the ground. Again, it does not feel that cold. When you're standing, it definitely feels a lot warmer, and you could actually stay here and be comfortable. The garage is not insulated. It does have some old sheetrock that somebody put up. I did end up getting some styrofoam, and I did cut out some boards out, and I ended up doing my garage door, because that's where I was losing most of the heat that I had in the garage. It isn't attached to the garage, so I mean one wall is going to be a little bit warmer than the rest, but besides that, I had no other heating here, no insulation on the roof. Same thing goes, I mean, I do have portion of the roof covered, but the heat can still go up, and obviously the heat rises, so a lot of it does go up. If I had this blocked off and had just one floor down here, it would definitely be a lot warmer in here right now. But like I said, It's definitely not cold like it was when I originally got in here. I could actually, even right now, I can stay in here, be comfortable, not worry about being cold. And let's put this up 71. See if it'll kick back on 1 degree. Nope. So looks like 2 degrees. So if you have it set on 40, once it gets to 38, it will turn the heat back on and try to warm it back up. So, and that's it for now. One thing I did notice, when you do a full shutdown, it gives you a countdown about 90 seconds of fan working to cool down the element. So if you have yours set up, and if you have a different one without the digital, they have the regular knob ones. If you shut it off and you see that it's still on, give it about 90 seconds for the fan to run out and cool off the heating element inside, so that way again it doesn't cause a fire or any other damage that it might cause from the heating element staying so hot. So this is why the fan stays on, so that we can cool it. Again, even right now I'm feeling a lot colder here. The heating element is almost all the way cold. Alright, to summarize real quick, the heater itself, yes, took about 20 minutes to half an hour to get the heat up to comfortable zone. Now, if you're in the garage for long periods and you have that thing at full blast, it's going to keep the temperature up. Yeah, I only have a 12 by about 20 feet garage, but within half an hour, raising the temperature from a real nice chill almost down to the freezing point to, some 60 degrees, it's definitely worth the money and worth installing something like that in your garage. Even if you have a bigger garage, 7500 watt heater like that, it'll keep the temperature up where you can work in it and stay away from the cold. So if you're planning to buy one, even if you have a small garage, it's definitely worth stepping up to the 75. Yeah, it is a little bit more money, but we're not talking about hundreds of dollars more or thousands of dollars more. um, like I said, I've seen some of those heaters go for um, about 100, 130, 140 bucks for the 5,000 watt, when I found the same exact unit as mine that I paid 160 bucks for. I seen some people selling it 200 and plus. So just got to do a little bit of research, find where you can find one. Right now, like I said, Amazon's got it for 160. I had they had a supposedly shipping was supposed to be like 15 days. It didn't take that long. It took about 2, maybe 3 days, I think, for it to come in. I mean, yeah, it was coming from, I think, New Jersey here. So if you're in this area, I mean, obviously it's going to be a lot quicker. If you're somewhere else, I mean, it might take a little bit longer, but it's definitely not going to take the 2 weeks that he said that it was going to take to ship. So if you're interested in getting one, I mean, I'm not affiliated with any of these companies or anything like that. I just wanted to do a little test to see how it all works and how good of a heat you can get out of it. And I mean, I'm amazed how good the works, and you don't have all the fumes that you normally get when you're running a kerosene heater or even propane. Um, I don't know if you ever ran a propane, but after like an hour or so, let me tell you, I mean, your eyes will start burning because the oxygen in there is changing, and um, not pleasant to really work around with. With this, you're not gonna feel any of the fumes because there is no fumes. You understand? So, um, electric is definitely the way to go. I'm still yet to see what kind of difference it is going to be on my bill. But how often do I go out there? It's only during the winter. During the summer, it's not going to be running or anything like that. So, if you don't mind paying a few extra bucks, this is the way to go. So.